A recent move by the Wisconsin legislature is causing some outrage. Legislators passed the biennial budget without including money to fund the Office of School Safety. NBC 15's Elizabeth Wadas explains what this could mean for your kids' safety in the classroom.
After 17 people were murdered at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School back in 2018, Wisconsin and other states across the country created offices to oversee and ramp up school safety. But here in Wisconsin, leaders of the office are worried this could be the last year it exists. Wisconsin's Office of School Safety has been paid for by federal dollars and grants, but those will run dry by the end of the 2023-24 school year. The director of the Office of School Safety there says they were counting on the state to fund the Office of School Safety, but no money was approved in the new budget. Coming up tonight at 10, how this move is now causing major concern from someone across the country, a parent here who knows all too well what can happen when tragedy strikes a school. In the studio, Elizabeth Wadas, NBC 15 News.